We talked about the ending the filibuster yesterday, but we're gonna do it again today because it's important and it didn't go away since yesterday. Mitch McConnell is apparently very satisfied with himself based on the back and forth he had with Chuck Schumer about the future of power sharing in the Senate and about the filibuster. He had this to say in a tweet. When we put up this tweet, I want you to look at the face he's making in that picture. Wow. Anyway, today I made clear that if Democrats ever attack the key Senate rules, it would drain the consent and comity out of the institution. A scorched earth Senate would hardly be able to function. It wouldn't be a progressive's dream. It would be a nightmare. I guarantee it. I understand that he knows what he's doing with that tweet. And if you have paid attention to any of politics, unless you woke up from a coma mid-TDR today, the sheer hypocrisy in that tweet is such that like it should bring down all of Twitter. Like it shouldn't be able to stand with how fake and false he is. And the rage I feel at seeing that, considering all that's on the line, it's a good thing I'm not Kerry. I'll just say that based on how that. Okay. So you're worried about attacks against the Senate. Yeah, we were too. Remember, you're voting to not convict Trump apparently. So, but no, we're not talking about attacks against the Senate as in attacks that actually kill people. We're talking about reform to something that's only been a tradition for a little bit. And draining the consent and comity, JR, the Senate wouldn't be able to function. And that's not something that Mitch McConnell wants, a non-functioning Senate.
That'd be brand new to this country. And in fact, the approval rating of our Congress might also drop below 75% because it's at an all-time high. The most approved body in all of our government is our Congress because people love them so much because there's never anything tied up. There's never any partisan battles. There's never any tricky persnickety moves that the leader will pull to make sure only his things happen and the things that happen for the American people won't. None of that ever happens under Mitch McConnell. This is crazy. I'm glad he's preserving the normal, the consent and comity of our Senate. Come on, bro. So as he pushed through only all of these judicial nominees and judicial appointments and confirmations for Trump at an all-time high and chuckled about it every time he had a chance to talk about it. He'll do that in front on TV and then come and tweet something like this and not expect anyone to go, well, that doesn't add up. What are you talking about? And the folks that do, doesn't matter. Those folks don't support him anyway. He has his own cabal of idiots that'll be always willing to vote for him.
I think you're sort of right. I think he knows exactly what he's doing and he knows that it doesn't matter that we point out that it's incredibly hypocritical, that his idea of a Senate that doesn't function is sort of funny when he made sure that there was an automatic filibuster on literally every piece of legislation, which if you believe that the filibuster is some sort of tradition that goes off to dinosaur times, it doesn't look like that. That's not how it's supposed to function. The fact that a filibuster can be broken with 60 votes, that is in the same way that the filibuster isn't actually a part of Senate rules. That's a relatively new one itself. That 60 could become 59, or, and get this, it could be 50 votes to break that. You could modify that in any number of different ways. He stole a SCOTUS nominee and he knows that he did it. And when he was talking about Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation, he made very clear that he knew exactly how transparently hypocritical it was. And it doesn't matter because he values the power he can get over being consistent or integrity or whatever BS stuff that really doesn't count for anything in DC. And so am I mad at Mitch McConnell? Yes, as every rational human being should, but I'm not surprised by Mitch McConnell, and I don't expect anything more from Mitch McConnell. What I do, maybe not expect, but I'm willing to push for is for the two who can actually do something about this to change. Mitch McConnell's not gonna change, but Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin, perhaps they can. Now, Joe Manchin says, I will not vote to bust the filibuster under any condition on anything that you can think of. I believe very strongly in bipartisanship. And Kristen Sinema apparently said under no circumstances would she reverse course. Okay, so their argument is that we need the filibuster to create bipartisanship. And I would say, then I want you to demonstrate literally any evidence that that's what it does, because it doesn't. The filibuster means that you don't get bipartisanship, you get, I almost swore, nothing. I'll say you get nothing. You get jack nothing. That's what you get. with the filibuster existing with the Republicans in the minority. You get no solutions to any problems. That's what you get. Now, without the filibuster, you could in theory have bills actually be considered and potentially even passed. And under those conditions, then maybe you could have some bipartisanship. You could have some Democrats and some Republicans actually talking about what needs to be in it and going back and forth. That is not what we have now. Continuing the filibuster means that we will not have that in the future. They are either lying or wrong, and we need to make sure that the American public knows about it. Because if necessary, Kristen Sinema, I hope you've enjoyed your time in the Senate. If you're going to be the block on all legislation, then you can get the hell out of there because we don't need you. You could be replaced very easily. And I look forward to primary challenges to her and to Joe Manchin continuing, hopefully in the very near future.
I'm curious how you read that last line of his tweet. It wouldn't be a progressive's dream, it would be a nightmare, I guarantee it. What do you think he means? Because I have a certain thought process of what that means and why it's working.
What do you think it means?
Okay, this whole thing about destroying the process of the Senate would be a nightmare. That's not about this sitting Congress right now, or this sitting Senate that just got sworn in. He's talking about when we win again, because that's all Republicans ever talk about when they're trying to fight back against whenever the Democrats win an election. It's always, you guys got to be careful because when we're back in power, we're gonna do it to you. And then you're not, that's the nightmare he's talking about. And then he separated, it'd be a nightmare to, I guarantee it, as a separate paragraph basically in this tweet, which means I guarantee you, I'm gonna make sure that we pass the most destructive policies and laws possible with a 51 majority the next time we're in office. And then you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be a nightmare for you the next time. I guarantee it. Why does he guarantee it's gonna be a nightmare right now? It'd be a nightmare for who? For progressives to get something done? Why would that be a nightmare for us? The nightmare would be, we're gonna do it to you, because they always say they're gonna do it to you. And then Democrats go, oh my God, they're gonna win again, they're gonna do it to us. How about you mobilize and make sure that you put in policies to make sure that the elections are free, fair, and allow everyone to vote? Because we already know the majority of Americans by far in every election always vote for Democrats. And so in this case, when new guys come in and you're worried about it flipping back to the Republicans, and then now you're gonna be destroyed. How about you make sure you put things in place that will allow a normal process of elections to happen, and then it's a normal 50, over a 50 majority to get something passed. And we're not afraid of them anymore. We put things in place where the American people have a voice. All of their policies are put in place to lower the American people's voice so that they can have the voice and speak against us. And you're afraid of them doing it when you're in power. When are we gonna be confident? When are we gonna be sure of the power? When are you gonna do something for the American people that voted for you? They voted you in and now you're afraid? Afraid of who? It's so weird to me. Who wins a football game and it goes, well, I'm afraid of the fans that we just beat their team. What are you afraid of them for? They're going home sad with the face paint that they're regretting that they wore to this game because they lost. It's so weird. I don't understand that. What fan base then says, well, we gotta respect those losers over there? Why? Why? You just lost. You put everything on the line and you lost. Good job. You can say,
totally.
I appreciate they fought hard out there. They really tried their hardest, but you know what? They lost. End of story. Why are we still trying to preserve the voice of the lost? Jesus. They don't do it to us. When's the last time you heard an establishment Republican politician say, you know what? Those progressives out there, we gotta pay attention to what they have to say. We gotta stop this partisanship. We gotta start listening to those California libs, because they're still Americans too. You know what they say about California libs? They say California libs are anti-American, burn the whole place down. Who cares if the fires rage? If we just eliminate those states from the union, we'd be fine. They say the president of the United States said this. So after saying that, and we just sit back and take it, why is it so important to make sure we preserve the thoughts and feelings and emotions of people who literally said you don't belong in the White House, Joe Biden? I'm sorry, I went up on 3 different tangents, but it's really okay. Annoying.
There's a lot of potential explanations, and I don't think we like any of them, JR. But you're right, we do need to make sure that people can vote. And so here's a fun exercise. I saw that Raphael Warnock is sponsoring legislation. It's gonna be one of the first big pieces of legislation the Senate's gonna consider. It's gonna re-strengthen the Voting Rights Act. It's going to increase early voting and a bunch of other things like that. Oh wait, they're just gonna filibuster it though. Now can you see why we need to get rid of the filibuster? Because even the solution Jared was talking about will be blocked by the same thing that we're talking about.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.